Test 1 2 3. Test 1 2 3. Test 1 2 3.
All right, we're good.
Hold on. Check 1 2 3. Yeah.
We're showing up. Check 1, check 2, check 1, check 2. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? You can't hear me now.
There we go. Got you now.
What's homie? You doing all right, man? It's good to see you. Good to see you. Why, can you hear me? So I don't blame you. So I don't blame you one bit. So she's a lot easier to talk with, you know. She's a jack of all trades now. All right.
They're coming in now, one ear but not the other.
Okay.
Check 1 2 3. Check 2 1 2 3 1 2 2.
Brandon's here? I'm running, Brandon. I'd run over and say, hey. Check 1, check 2. Can you hear me now? Okay, good deal. Coming in loud and clear. All right. You ready to get started?
Let's get started.
Are you going down here or are you going to stay?
I'll go down here.
Okay. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, hombres and chicas, welcome here to the Grant Center. We are 13 minutes and 30 seconds away from the start of today's ODAC men's basketball matchup featuring the Hornets of the University of Lynchburg and your Averett University Cougars. I'm former Assistant Sports Information Director Davin Wilson. I'm joined here today by Wyatt Apolco.
Acapulco.
Okay, Acapulco. It might take me a little while to get that, but
You're
we will
fine,
get it.
Davin.
So, Wyatt, how's everything going today, bud?
It's going good. I mean, we saw in the first game, the women's matchup ended up not being, as good of a result as we thought. But here we are with the coming into the men's game. We're right behind the Hornets. In the standings, we're sitting about 9th. They're sitting about 8th in the standings. This is going to be a huge game for the Cougars because we're sitting at the exact same record as the Hornets coming into the game today.
And you take a look here, and really things are flipped around in a way. Lynchburg comes in 9-7 overall, 3-4 in the ODAC. Meanwhile, the Cougars come into this one 7-9, 2-5 in the ODAC. So you're right, Wyatt. Very similar records, which lets us know these are very similar ball clubs, and we're going to have a very interesting game here. But first off, we're going to take a look here at some of the starters. First off, for the visiting Hornets. First up, we got number 1, sophomore guard Jake Hart. Hart coming in, averaging 4.8 points per game, 2.7 rebounds, and 3.9 assists in 27.5 minutes averaged. Meanwhile, up next is number 3, Pearson Young, the junior guard, 6'2", coming in, averaging 1.5 points per game, 0.6 rebounds, and 5.5 minutes averaged. Also up next, Young actually coming in, averaging 11.8 points per game, 5.8 rebounds, and 3.3 assists in 30.6 minutes. Next up, White is number 5, Mike Gray, the sophomore guard, coming in here averaging 10.8 points per game, 2.1 rebounds, 1.5 assists. Then next up is number 14, John Faust, the senior forward, averaging 6.6 points, 3.8 rebounds, and 1.1 assists. And Wyatt, last but not least, the local hometown hero, Jamarcus Brown, freshman forward, coming in averaging a team-high 12.1 points per game, 5.6 rebounds, and 1.2 assists per game. So Brown definitely been a big And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We experienced a little bit of technical difficulties, but we are back on the air thanks to the fantastic Zoe Wins. She is incredible. We have to give her so much credit, don't we, Wyatt?
Yes, we do. I mean, we absolutely love her being our GA this year. I mean, her being kind of behind the scheduling and, all sort of stuff, to get us here and be able to do what we do. I mean, we all love having her here. I mean, she's the best in the office.
She is. She's what in this business is called a jack of all trades.
Yes, she is.
And I tell you one thing, running any kind of live, and you see her down here, she's trying to act modest, but we know better than that, don't we? Don't we, Wyatt? So she's got the inner swag going right here. So.
That's right. As we see the Cougars taking the court here, coming out of the locker room as well as the visiting Hornets.
And we're going to take a look here at the starting lineup here so far for the Cougars. First off, Wyatt, we were talking about a couple of local kids getting the start here tonight. First off, number 2, Jamison Graves, former Tunstall player. Spent some time, played some football at Tunstall, played a little bit of basketball. He and his parents moved down to Greensboro his sophomore year, I believe it was, in high school. And he spent the rest of his time down there. Came down for better academics, obviously, but he comes into this game averaging 13.3 points per game, 2.1 rebounds, 1.3 assists, and 27.8 minutes average per game. Then up next, we've got number 3, Jackson Sellers, the freshman guard out of Greensboro, North Carolina, coming in averaging 10.9 points, 3.9 rebounds, and 26.1 minutes average. Up next is number 4, Mason Mitchell, the guard forward out of Charlotte, North Carolina, 6'5" freshman. Definitely can't miss him on this court. He comes in averaging 8 points a game, 4.3 rebounds, 1.3 assists, and 29 minutes average. Up next is Clay Hodges, who's got to have one of the best mustaches in the game.
That's right. We see him coming on the court. I mean, he's not hard to miss.
He's not. Even up here, you can see the mustache, and that's him coming in. And then, of course, rounding out the starting 5, Jason Sellers II, graduate student forward out of Greensboro, North Carolina, the older brother of Jackson Sellers. Came back, used that extra COVID year that he had to come back, and play with his brother one more year. And you know what? You got to love stories like that.
That's right. I mean, there are very few times where we get to see that kind of thing of getting to see, two brothers getting to play on the court, for at least for 1 year, before Jason, fully graduates, takes it onto his, professional career. It's very, very nice to see. I mean, and it should be interesting to see how Coach Duino, as we see, obviously see him coming on the floor right now, see how what kind of play that Jackson will get and Jason will get, to combine together to get some points on the board.
And you take a look here, and this really goes to show you the modern game and how it's changed. You got Jackson Sellers coming here, a 6'4" guard. You don't see that a whole lot.
That's right.
And so I think the two of them will definitely be a big factor. But taking a look at some of Averett's reserves, you got Jalen Chambers, you got Josh Lewis, another local kid, coming out of Westover Christian. You got Tamias Bracey. Bracey played for Hargrave Military Academy. Huge prep team here in the area. Actually went up to VMI as a preferred walk-on. Came back here and joined his former teammate at Hargrave, Terrell Fitzgerald. And then speaking of Fitzgerald, Fitzgerald is another key recruit for this Cougars team. So, you know what? We're taking a look here. Averett comes into this game winners of 2 of its last 7. Comes in 72-53 loss to Bridgewater. They were missing Shaw, though, and that definitely made a huge difference in that game. Missing his 6'1" frame, missing that strength, missing that height inside. And Bryce has also got a nice touch on the ball. But before that, they knocked off Shenandoah 85-60, beat Randolph 89-82. So, you know, it's kind of been a tale of 2 seasons for Averett so far. They started off so hot, got the wins against number 20 Maryville, nationally ranked team there. Then came in there, got the win against number 10 Christopher Newport. Started off the season 5-0, and then it just kind of went downhill there with a 9-game losing streak.
That's right, yeah, Davin, as we see here, I mean, you know, coming back from that 9-game losing streak, you know, we're seeing that they knocked out 2 major wins coming back into conference play, and now that's why they're sitting where they are. So they have a huge chance to be able to get back into the conference tournament, at least into the talk of the conference tournament, and hopefully be able to take that last spot, if not the one before that.
And we definitely hope, we wish them well. Meanwhile, Lynchburg comes in here 2-3 in their last 5 games, but Wyatt, they've got a game here. Number 7 Hampden-Sydney right now in the nation. A close loss there, 78-67. Then a narrow win over a talented Eastern Mennonite squad. Then they bounced back with a win against Shenandoah, and then they dropped a 1-point contest to Roanoke back last Wednesday before falling this past Saturday to Virginia Wesleyan, which Wyatt we know is always a perennial, is always a powerhouse, and always a tough team to get past. So, while we're waiting, not exactly sure. Of course, this is the second game of a doubleheader, so we're going to wait and see if we're going to have the national anthem. But we've already gone through the starting lineups, but let's go through them again just in case some folks missed them. Right now for Lynchburg, we're expecting Jake Hart, Pearson Young, Mike Gray, John Faust, and Jamarcus Brown. For the Hornets, and for Averett, we're looking at Jameson Graves, Jackson Sellers, Mason Mitchell, Clay Hodges, and Jackson Sellers second. So we're going to go ahead and get the starting lineup real quick from Drew Wilson. So it is number 1, Jake Hart, the first starting spot. Then the hometown kid, number 3, Pearson Young. The Baltimore native, Mike Gray, up next. The North Carolina native, John Faust, up next. And here's the hometown kid, and you hear the roars.
You definitely say that this game today is a hometown game, no matter what happens.
It is, and you saw so much with Jamarcus Brown. Spent 4 years covering his career here in Danville. Great kid, great young man, comes from a great family. And Wyatt also a one-time track champion for the high jump, and also a finalist as well. So, but we're here to talk about Averett. So, first off, another local kid, number 2, Jameson Graves, getting the first start for Averett. Then from Greensboro, North Carolina, number 3, Jackson Sellers. Then up next, forward out of Charlotte, North Carolina, Mason Mitchell. He will be followed by number 5 out of Hiddendyke, North Carolina, guard Clay Hodges. And finally, last but not least, the big man himself, number 12, 6'6" forward, Jason Sellers II. And ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for your starting lineups. And we've got 20 minutes on the clock. And actually, Wyatt, we left out one key point here. The coach for the Hornets is Hillary Scott in his 17th season. He is assisted by John Cranford, Dylan Hall, and Brandon Vanover.
That's right, and the head coach for your Cougars is David Duino, along with Keyshawn Lewis as your assistant coach on the bench for the Cougars.
And so Keyshawn, of course, we know he played here for a while at Averett and decided to come back, get his graduate degree, and we're definitely glad to have him. So here we are. We've got a good crowd here for this one. Of course, some of it is coming down for Brown. He's got his own little cheering section over here right to the left of us on the visitor stand. But, of course, Lynchburg being right in the area, wouldn't expect anything less but a good turnout for this game.
That's right. That's right, Gavin. This is a hometown game. This is a big deal. And, as we're going to see Jason Sellers get the tip.
And so Clay Hodges now with the ball. And it's going to give Averett its first chance to see if they can get on the board here. So Hodges well guarded by Brown and number 14, Faust. It's going to kick that one out to Graves. Graves back to Hodges. Hodges over to Sellers. Hodges, a nice bounce pass into number 12, Jason Sellers. Back out to Hodges. And Jamarcus Brown comes in for the steal. Having a little trouble with the handle. And will not get the shot to fall, but he is going to draw a foul on the play. So, Wyatt, just coming in here, your freshman year, you don't very often get to start your freshman year. And here it is, Brown making that start for the Hornets.
That's right, Devin, is that, not always, do you see you really rarely don't see freshmen getting to start their freshman year. So this is always a joy when you get to see the kids getting to make their start and get a little bit more playing time underneath their belts than kids that young normally do.
And you're right about that. It's one of the big adjustments for any kid coming from, high school, especially in a small town, is making that adjustment from being a big fish in a small pond to a small pond or a small fish in a big pond. And so, we're going to wait to see what, I think we're going to have a reset. I think that's what they're wanting down here. And we're going to take a look here at the clock. We didn't see the officials come over and it's actually, that's what it's going to be. It's going to be a reset as no foul is put on the board for either team. And he's going to step out of bounds. Number 5, Mike Gray. Hit a long shot from over there in the left corner, but it would be for naught.
It's right, Devin. He was a little too quick there to get into that corner. Even though it was an open shot, just a little too quick in that corner, and looks like it's an early turnover for the Hornets.
And actually, I do take that back. That was a foul whistled on Jamarcus Brown. So that was his first personal, team first. Teams are now even at 1-1 in fouls. So that's Jackson Sellers driving in. A nice block there by Lynchburg. Lynchburg on the quick reset, but Clay Hodges getting a hand in there on that pass.
That's right. Hodges looks like he's going to get double teamed a lot today. So it's going to be interesting to see how Coach Duino gets him out of that and moves the ball around a little bit more to give him some open looks.
And it definitely will be, and definitely with him and both Sellers brothers, and then also expect to see, a lot of bodies on Jameson Graves as well, as Graves has been outstanding this year for the Cougars. So there's a pull-up jumper, does not fall. Lynchburg coming down with the rebound. You see David Duino wanting that defensive board. That's what he builds a lot of his strategy around, and that's going to be number 11, Cole Calloway, number 14, Faust, with the putback, and Lynchburg has got the first points of the game. So it's going to be number 4, Mason Mitchell. Mitchell out to Hodges. Hodges back to Mitchell. Mitchell thought about the 3, takes it back. Hodges a reach around pass, and Hodges with the long ball, long shot, and he's going to draw a foul there. So And ladies and gentlemen, we are back on this one. Sorry about the brief pause. We're having some audio problems here tonight. It's cost of doing show business, cost of going live, but we're going to be bringing you this one from the MacBook speakers. So please bear with us, and once we get a break here, we will be trying to resolve this problem further and get back to the normal way of doing things. So that was Jake Hart with the layup there to give Lynchburg a 4-3 lead. 16:52 left in the first half.
That's right, Gavin. The turnover there on the Cougars will give the Hornets back the ball there as the Hornets just took an early 4-3 lead here. As the last play you saw there before the audio got fixed was a foul on the Hornets, able to cut into this deficit here with early in the first half.
And that's it. And I think this is going to be one of those games neck and neck the whole way. I don't think either team is going to get ahead by more than 2 or 3 possessions, and we'll see how close it is. But right now, Lynchburg trying to take a full possession lead here over the Cougars. Averett playing good defense. Right now, Lynchburg in the paint, and that is number 24, Tyler Buggs. And he's not bugging out right there as he hits a turnaround jumper, 6-3.
That's right, Gavin. Lynchburg right now doing a great job of spreading the Cougars out. Let's see how the Cougars respond and get some points back here on the board.
And that's Mason Mitchell, and that is going to be Jackson Sellers there with the putback, 6-5 now. And that is one thing why, you know as well as I do, David Duino demands rebounds on both ends of the court, and Averett doing just that. And it gets it within a possession. There's an errant pass. Lynchburg is number 1, Jake Hart, out of Fuquay-Varina, North Carolina, down there by Raleigh, right outside of the Raleigh-Durham area.
That's right, Gavin. That was a great job by the Cougars. Actually, we were talking about how Jackson and Jason Sellers being out there on the floor together. You know, we were just talking about them because the fact is that they were the ones who caused that turnover. And so the Cougars able to get the ball back here and able to get another possession here to get the points back on the board.
And there's a long three attempt there from number 22, Bracy. Will not get it to fall. Of course, Bracy coming in from Hargrave. It's a very talented prep school, about 30 minutes up the road here in Chatham. Always competing at the top level. Jameson Graves right now, well guarded by number 1, Hart. And he's going to get back over to Jason Sellers. Sellers, a nice pass to Graves, knowing where each other are. And Graves follows it up. And Jameson Graves, 7-6. And why we were talking about it before the game, when Graves can get his points, the Cougars usually do well.
Great separation there by Jason to be able to get Jamison the open layup there as he was able to get enough space in between him and his defender to be able to get that bucket up and in. As Lynchburg gets another bucket here in response to the 3-pointer.
And that was Jake Hart making it 9-7 with 14:42 left here in the first half. Jameson Graves now with a shot. He will not get the fall. Lynchburg coming down with the defensive board. Trying to get you the number on that. I believe it was number 14, Faust. It is. So Faust is going to get it over to Young. Young's 3-point attempt does not fall, and the ball will go out on Lynchburg. So number 22, John Henderson, checking into the game for Lynchburg. So Josh Lewis and Terrell Fitzgerald checking in for the Cougars. Of course, Lewis and Fitzgerald once again, 2 local kids. Fitzgerald coming out of Hargrave and Lewis coming out of Westover Christian. And Josh Lewis actually left Westover his senior year as state champion.
That's right, Gavin. You know, he's one of the guys to watch for the Cougars this year. One of the veterans on Coach Duino's squad that's definitely given them a boost throughout the last couple of years.
He has, and Lynchburg coming down with the defensive board there. And it's going to be number 1, Jake Hart. There's a nice bounce pass into number 12, Valentine. Valentine still trying to make something happen. Gets it back over to number 5, Mike Gray, who will try to hand off the ball to Valentine. Does not work, goes out of bounds. So we're going to have a timeout, and we're going to have a full timeout. We're going to take it with them. Lynchburg 9, Averett 7.
And welcome back to the Averett Sports Network. Just coming out of the timeout, we're going to see the Cougars come back onto the floor and look to get tied up here early here in the first half. As we see, there's 13 minutes and 38 seconds left to go here in this first half, and how Coach Duino will set up the offense coming into the rest of the half.
And so Mason Mitchell right now gets it over to Bracy. Bracy back to Mitchell. Mitchell with the 3 ball off the front end, and that is some good offensive rebounding right there. Trying to get the tip in, but put back the fall, unable to do so. Lynchburg comes down with the defensive board. Jake Hart. Hart trying to create something here. Inside bounce pass to number 24, Bugs. And let's see. It's going to be Lewis getting called for the foul. Josh Lewis, his first personal, team second. 9-7, 13:04 left in the first quarter. And so that's going to send Bugs, the redshirt sophomore out of Statesboro, Georgia, to the line. First shot off the back iron. Keep it a 2-point game. And thank you for sticking with us if the audio is not sounding the best in the world. There's the second shot. We will be doing some work on it here. So Bugs did not get any shot, either one of his shots to fall. Averett on the rebound. Bracy trying to make something happen. Over to number 3, Jackson Sellers. And let's see, it's going to be number 22, John Henderson, his first personal. Team 4. We see Jameson Graves checking back in for the Cougars. So as we said, the Cougars coming into this game 7-9, 2-5 in the ODAC. Lynchburg coming in 9-7, 3-4 in the ODAC. So right there, neck and neck, fighting for that 8th spot. Bracy's shot does not fall. Lynchburg with the defensive board. It's going to be number 5, Mike Gray, and a nice pass there over the top to number 3, Young, nothing going. Averett with the board. So Bracy, good defense there by the Hornets. And Averett ball.
That's right, Davin. The Cougars doing a great job to get out on their transition offense and be able to try to get some numbers down the floor a little bit more often than they have earlier in the first half. But Bracy doing a great job of driving the defense in so that that their offense can get more open.
And Terrell Fitzgerald there, his second impressive putback attempt. And so Josh Lewis is going to get hit with that foul. We're going to see number 0, Eli Thomas, checking in for Lynchburg. Hodges and number 12, Jason Sellers, checking in for the Cougars. So Lewis, 2 quick fouls there. He will be coming out of the game. That is his second personal, team third. And let's see what Lynchburg can do on the inbound. And it's going to be number 5, Gray. And a 3-point attempt does not fall. Jason Sellers there with the rebound. Gives it over to Clay Hodges.
That's right, Gavin. I mean, we just talked about Sellers being getting up there on the in the leaderboard with actually on in the rebound category.
And so that is Sellers. Cannot get it to fall. Going to be number 1, Hart. Well guarded by Hodges. Number 24, Bugs with a long shot. And Bugs gets a little help from gravity on that one and a little bit of physics. And it's 12-7, 11:20 left in the first half. So Lynchburg out to his biggest lead of the game. Fitzgerald with a one-handed jumper. And he is going to draw a foul in the process. Looks like number 22, John Henderson. His second personal, team 5th. So Wyatt early on, not even 10 minutes into this game, almost as many fouls as minutes played. And we'll have to see if this physicality is going to continue. I don't see any reason it wouldn't with these two teams being rivals.
That's right, Davin. I mean, but that was a great job by Fitzgerald to bring the defense in and to draw the foul to be able to get to the line early. And as Coach Duino has always aimed to do, as you are definitely able to get on the board a little bit easier from the free throw line.
And so we're going to Fitzgerald hits his second attempt. We're going to have Van Nellison, and also I believe it was Young checking into the game for the Hornets. And number 14, John Faust, a senior forward out of Liberty, North Carolina. He's going to give it over to Young. Young puts up a layup attempt, does not fall. Mason Mitchell with the rebound. Nice running pass to Hodges. Hodges over to Fitzgerald, and Fitzgerald cannot corral it in. So that will be a Averett turnover, Lynchburg ball.
Davin, that's right. As Fitzgerald just going a little too fast for himself, being trying to get that ball and stay in bounds, just not able to do that. And as Lynchburg will take over.
And we'll see what happens from here on out with it, as we're now reaching the halfway point of the first half. And that is, let's get the number, trying to see it, number 24, Bugs. Averett foul charge to Graves. First personal, team 4th. We're going to have Jackson Sellers checking back into the game. And we'll have Bugs going to the line for one shot. Bugs, 6'6", redshirt sophomore forward. Checking in and he will hit that to complete the three-point play and give Lynchburg a 15-9 lead. So Clay Hodges gets it over to Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald back over to Jason Sellers. Sellers back over to Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald over to Graves. Graves driving in. Well defended. Duino and his staff is wanting a foul. Can't argue too much on that one. No foul called, but they will get one on the other end there.
That's right. Great job by Lynchburg to be able to get to the free throw line and draw the foul there. Definitely, you're right there. As Coach Duino definitely want a foul there on the other end. As Graves was absolutely pummeled on the back end there as he was trying to put up that shot.
And so that's going to send, I believe it is, trying to get a number, Faust, I believe, to the line here. First attempt off the back iron. So it is Faust at the line. We don't see any substitutions getting ready to come in on either side here. So let's see what Faust can do with this second attempt. And he gets it to fall, and it's now a 16-9 game with 10-12 remaining here in the first half. So Hodges now, Clay Hodges, taking the ball down court. trying to do his job as a guard, gets it out to Jackson Sellers. Sellers back to Hodges. Hodges back to Jackson Sellers. Jackson Sellers driving in. He's going to find his brother Jason. Jason trying to make something happen. Well guarded there by number 24, Bugs. And we're going to have a foul.
That's right. I was going to say earlier is we saw that Clay was just kind of trying to slow that offense down a little bit as they've come out a little too fast. But great job by Coach Tuino to get them to slow down and slow the offense down, be able to set up their play. As I believe that that'll help them on the long end.
And that was Van Nelson getting charged with the foul. And number 3, Jackson Sellers puts up a long roving 3. Doesn't get it to fall. Lynchburg with the defensive board. Nice defensive awareness there by Jackson Sellers. Sellers trying to drive in, stops, trying to change directions wisely there. So Sellers out to Graves. Graves back over to number 12, Jason Sellers. A little bit of a skirt. Ugh. I'm not going to try to say that word. So we'll just go with a little bit of physicality there. Skercuffle, that's what I was trying to say. Good luck trying to say that 5 times.
That's right, as we see Jalen Chambers getting ready to check in and does check in for the Cougars. We'll come in for Hodges. So Hodges will take a seat, and as Coach Tuino gets some fresh legs out there on the floor.
And I think it's definitely needed right now. You're hitting the halfway point here, and Lynchburg has come in and played a very defensive-minded game so far, and really giving the Cougars, making them earn. And I know that is what Scott is expecting. So Jake Hart, that ball is stripped away. Of course, Averett predicates a lot of their play on the defensive end of things as well. Duino very much reminded me of Jimmy Valvano in that aspect. Jackson Sellers will turn around one-handed jumper. And bad skills right there, son.
That's right. Jason has been able to do that the whole time he's been here at Averett. It's one of the things that Coach Tuino absolutely loves about him. He's able just to get down there in the post and be able to put it up there, and more times than not, that ball goes in the net.
It does, and you saw right there, well-contested jumper. Averett's defense coming up with another big play. And there's Fitzgerald in motion. He's going to collect his board, though. Trying to move in is number 11, Chambers. Ball is stripped away. And that is nice defense there by Jackson Sellers to tip that pass away. The ball will go to the University of Lynchburg, though, who hold a 16-11 lead. So we're going to see number 5, Mike Gray, come back into the game. Of course, we still have Jamarcus Brown on the bench after catching a quick 2 fouls. So here's the inbound. Averett well guarded. We're starting to see that Pat and Averett defense step up here.
That's right, something that Coach Tuino has put together over time and has done a great job here so far against Lynchburg, as they were able to right now contain them to only being down 5 points. So it's going to be interesting to see here how the Cougars come back into this game.
And it will be. And of course, Averett is one of those teams that we've seen it so many times in the past. They might enter the half with a deficit, but they are a second half team for sure. We've seen it this year against Southern Virginia, that second game of the year. Entered the half down by 11, came back, ended up winning. So number 5, Mike Gray, knocks down that first attempt, 17-11. And so we've got number 21, Nelson, back into the game. Nelson out of Louisville, Colorado. Not exactly a hop, skip, and a jump from Lynchburg. But at 6'9", I know they are more than happy to have him. So Jalen Chambers on the inbound. Chambers trying to set something up down court. Fitzgerald getting into place. Mason Mitchell getting into place here. See Mitchell in motion over on the right side. Gets over to Jackson Sellers. Sellers into Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald with a turnaround jumper. Will not get it to fall. Jackson Sellers competes for the board. We've got a little tussle for the ball. It's going to end with a jump ball.
That was a great idea there by Coach Duino to put Jason Sellers up top and Fitzgerald down below to see whether Jason could get a tip back into the basket on a miss from Fitzgerald. With the fact is that Jason is so big down in the post.
And that's actually going to be a foul whistled on Fitzgerald. That is his second personal, team 7. And so let's see, I believe it is Faust at the line right now. And Faust is going to hit his shot. So Clay Hodges back into the game as Fitzgerald picks up the 2 fouls. He will be sitting down for a little bit. And so Faust will go to the line for his reward shot after knocking down the first of the 1-and-1s. And the second shot does not fall. Van Helen, though. Averett's wanted it over the back, and you can't really blame him for that. But Jackson Sellers, he's going to get his first personal. But, of course, when you're standing at 6'9", it's kind of hard not to go over somebody's back.
That's right, Davin. I mean, he went up for the rebound so hard there, and coming down on that, I mean, you really can't help but reach over the back of someone that's way shorter than you are.
That's it, and even with a guy like Jackson Sellers, who is standing in here, or Jason Sellers, who stands in at 6'6", you're still looking at a 3-inch height difference there. So
looks like it'll be another foul called here on the Cougars.
They're having some discussion. So we're going to get some clarification here, some clerical stuff cleaned up. We're going to take a quick break on the Averett Sports Network, and we'll be right back. Lynchburg 19, Averett 11. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. As we're going to have a couple of technical shots here. First shot goes in. That is number 14, John Faust. Jackson Sellers getting hit with the tech. And so let's see if Faust can hit this here and make it a double-digit game. He does. 22-11. It actually already was a double-digit. No, 21-11. We'll get it right, we promise. We don't get paid for perfection, just the attempt. 24, Tyler Buggs. Handoff over to number 5, Mike Gray. So Gray back to Buggs. Shot clock down in single digits. And Jackson Sellers does a good job of getting a hand in there, but it deflects, goes out of bounds. Lynchburg ball. And we're going to have another timeout. We're going to wait and see. This is going to be a 30-second timeout, so we're going to go ahead and stay. We'll go ahead and stay with you here.
That's right. That was a great job by Jackson to get in between in that passing lane to try to get a turnover for the Cougars, but just pass was just too high and not a reach for him to be able to pull it down.
And that's it. And so 21-11, 7:14 left to go here in this first half. Excuse me, I'm getting a phone call here from a school that I haven't taught at in 5 years. Must be telling me something about the weather.
Well, it's always nice to be able to be contacted by your alma mater.
Yeah, it always is. So, and we're getting ready to start back here. 7:14 left in the first half, 21-11. Lynchburg out to its biggest lead of the game at double digits. So it's going to be number 14, Fouls. Fouls gets it over to Gray. Shot clock running down 1 second. And Gray barely scraping by there. Shot does not fall. A great pass over to Nellison. And Nellison hits that three. Drizzles that tray, and it's now 24-11. So Averett right now with the ball, trying to cut into this deficit a little bit.
Great job there by Sellers to get that rebound and draw the foul to be able to get to the line there and to be able to put some points back on the board here for the Cougars.
So right now I'm going to try to take a quick look here to see what kind of run the Hornets have been on. Hornets are currently on a 8-2 run. The Cougars have not grabbed a bucket since the 8:41 mark. Jason Sellers. Sellers' hook shot made it a 16-11 game. Since then, the Hornets have ripped off 8 straight points to take a 13-point lead, scratch out a 12-point lead as the Cougars will break that 8-0 run. 24-12, 6.5 minutes. So it's going to be number 22, John Henderson. And a nice pass over to Nellison. Tip does not fall. Averett with the defensive board. And that's what the Cougars are going to have to start doing. They're going to chip away at this. They got to start grabbing those defensive boards, hitting shots on the other end. So Jason Sellers.
This is right. Thanks to Jason Sellers and also Clay Hodges being down there on the post and being able to double team the Hornets down there to force a turnover.
And we got a injury stoppage here as it looks like Hodges is bleeding a little bit. It looks like a nosebleed. Wish him luck. Tobias Bracey into the game. Don't know if he got elbowed or got a little messed up in a scuffle or if it just started bleeding on him.
We all hope that the Hodges is able to get back to this game and hope that he's okay. But he'll get checked out there by the trainer here for the Cougars. I mean, which we all absolutely love. The fact is that they're always on there, making sure that our players are always okay.
And they always are. And one thing that I just noticed, DeWino almost rocking the capri pants down there tonight. So he's a brave man style wise.
It's always cool to see the fashion sense here by Coach DeWino. You know, you gotta love the pants that are just a little short coming up from the ankles. So it's a little interesting to see what he wears.
David Duino going athletic emo down there tonight. That's what we'll call it. We'll call it athletic emo.
We all love Coach Duino here. I mean, he's always he's a great leader here for the Cougars, and making sure that they're always at their best every game.
And one thing, Duino, you always see him. He's always being vocal, always cheering for his guys, always making his voice heard out there. You got to respect that. Just a good old-fashioned guy from the Bronx, and that's why so much of his coaching style and so much about him reminds me of the late great Jimmy Valvano.
Definitely, yes. But with just a little less hair.
Yeah, a little less hair and a little bit taller. A little bit taller.
It's always with Coach Duino, it's always a very fun environment, no matter what happens here. I mean, for example, with how great of a turnout we get for these conference games here in the Grand Center, it's just a matter of fact that it's just always a fun environment here at Averett University.
Well, and there's one thing that Sports Information Director Drew Wilson and I were talking about before the game. It was actually when Averett won the USA South in its final year. I think it was back in 2020 or 2021, one of the two. They actually entered the end of the season about the midway point, 8 or 9 games under 500. They caught fire there at the end of the season, made one heck of a run, were able to win the ODAC or the USA South tournament in its final year and make an appearance against Emory down in Atlanta in the NCAA quarterfinal matchup. So, things as hot as the season started for the Cougars, things have definitely calmed down a little bit, cooled off, but still a lot of time left to play.
That's right. As you were just saying earlier, the Cougars are a second half team, no matter whether it's the second half of a game or the second half of the season.
And they are, and so it's just an inside opportunity right there for Henderson. And Henderson gets his own rebound and the putback, and it's now a 12-point lead, 26-14, getting down to 5:18 left in the first half. So Averett gonna try to start chipping away at that deficit a little bit here before the break. So Bracey right now. Bracey trying to drive in, kicks it back out to Mason Mitchell. Mitchell with the three! And it is now a single-digit game at 26-17.
Great open look there by Mitchell to be able to get that shot up and draw his defender away from him. That was an absolutely beautiful shot, and be able to bring the Cougars back within single digits going into the timeout here that call was called by Averett.
And one thing you gotta like about it too that you gotta mention, Bracey with a beautiful pass right there, kicking out to Mitchell and making that shot happen. So there again, we see Duino's team this year have a lot of heart. Then we see them at times kind of have a little bit of drop off. So
that's right. That's right, Gavin. You think that the first half of the season was fun? Just watch out. We're gonna right after this game, we're going to see a takeoff.
And we definitely hope you were right on that one. And so it's going to be number 1, Jake Hart trying to get the ball back down the court. Hart well guarded though. Bracey gets it over to number 24, Buggs. There's a steal from the Cougars. I believe it was number 11, Chambers. Yes, it was. Handoff over to Tobias Bracey. And we were talking about style points here a second ago. You got to get Bracey style points on the hair too. Absolutely gorgeous.
It's one of the things that we're seeing from players these days. It's actually really kind of funny to see is the fact that it's a huge afro of hair. But you know what? It's really cool to see the fact that how diverse this campus is, and it's one of the many things that we all love about it.
It is, and so Lynchburg right now trying to slow the momentum a little bit, and that's exactly what Mike Gray will do. And Lynchburg is going to take a timeout. And we are going to go ahead and take it with him here on the Averett Sports Network. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. And we're very happy here. We get to actually stand up for a little bit, and you can still hear us. So, Bracy, if you're just joining us, Lynchburg leading 28-19 with 3:56. We're going to have a foul on the play. So, Jason Sellers getting hit with the foul. First personal. Team 10th, I believe. I'm not sure if it's the 10th or we've hit the 10 mark and now not having any more.
I think it is the 10th foul, Drew, as Lynchburg coming out here fast on offense with an easy layup there.
Mike Gray knocking it down. It's now an 11-point game, 3:37 remaining in the first half. If Averett can get this down to 5 or 6, then we know we'll definitely feel a lot better going into the break. A good no call right there. So Bracy with a pass across court. And we're going to have a walk on Jackson Sellers. And right now, Averett having a problem with turnovers.
That's right. It's an unusual amount of turnover here for the Cougars as Jackson just was going a little too fast there and he's caught it with the ref catching his feet moving.
So driving in there, and that ball is swatted away. Possession will stay with Lynchburg. So 3:06 remaining here, 30-19 is the score. Hopefully Averett will save Averett. So it's going to be Hodges and number 14, Isaiah Ramazani, checking into the game. Ramazani coming out of High Point, North Carolina, an hour and a half down the road. And yep, number 3, Pearson Young, left on a lonely island, and hits the 3. 33-19.
That's right, David. Is the Cougars not able to pick him up there as they're a little spread out, a little too far on defense, leaving a guy wide open with an absolute splash of a jump shot.
And they're going to get the block on, I believe it is number 3, Jackson Sellers.
And it looks like we see the Clay Hodges in, so I'm glad to see that he's okay and is able to get back into this game. Not going to be able to not lose minutes over the injury.
And speaking of losing minutes, that is Jackson Sellers' 3rd personal foul.
That's right, Devin. That's right, Devin. So he's going to have to watch it here for the rest of this game, as Coach Duino is going to have to use him wisely for the rest of this one.
And so Mike Gray knocking down the shot there, the sophomore guard out of Upper Marlboro, Maryland. Out there in the suburbs, in the burbs.
As we'll see Lynchburg come to the line here for 2 shots.
And that shot falls down. So
sorry for 1 shot.
Quick 3-point play. And it's now 35-19. White, I never will forget one game about 8 or 9 years ago against William Peace. Averett was trailing by about 18. 6 minutes left in the game and heated up from beyond the arc and came back, ended up losing the game, but still made it a lot more competitive than it looked.
That's right, Gavin. Honestly, that sounds also a lot like the Maryville game that happened a couple years ago that we both called together, where the Cougars came back with some fire in the second half. Still ended up losing that game, but still was a lot more competitive in the second half than they were in the first half of that game.
And those Maryville games are always competitive. Those 2 programs up there, and so. We're going to see here, I believe it is going to be Lewis at the line. Or no, that is actually Jackson Sellers at the line. And it's going to be number 1, Jake Hart. It's going to get it over to number 22, Henderson. Henderson can't get it to fall. Averett with the defensive rebound. Ball is swatted away, and possession will stay with the Cougs. And of course, Hodges coming in on the inbound here. And it's going to be number 11, Cole Calloway, checking in for the Hornets. Mason Mitchell on the inbound here. So Hodges. And Hodges is going to draw a foul there. See who it is against. So it's against number 11, Callaway.
Looks like it'll be a 1-and-1 shot here, Davin, for Hodges. So he has a chance to the line here to cut into this the Hornet lead here before the end of the first half.
And they definitely are going to have to try to get it down. I said 5 or 6 a few minutes ago, and Hodges' first shot falls in. Now you got to get it within at least 8 or 9, coming down 15 to feel a little bit better coming out of the break. And Hodges, dos on the free throws, and it's now 35-21, 148 remaining. And why excuse me, the correct Spanish on that would actually be dos para dos.
That's right, Davin. As a great defense there from the Cougars, being able to get them the ball back here as they have had a couple of successful possessions there on defense, and be able to get the ball back and to be able to get some points back on the board and cut into this deficit, as though in another turnover here is able to give Lynchburg a couple points here. So the Cougars are coming out fast here back on offense.
And so Mitchell, now Hodges. So Hodges trying to move in. And there's a layup, and he gets the ball with 14 points now. We're now under a minute here in the half. Left in the half. Let's see what kind of finish we have here. Of course, Lynchburg does have a little bit of the luxury of being able to hold on to the ball for a little bit. And so that's going to be number 5, Gray. A little handoff to number 24, Tyler Boggs, and that falls in 39-23. So Mason Mitchell gets it out to number 14, Ramazani. Ramazani over to Hodges. Hodges back to Ramazani. Ramazani trying to show his handles a little bit. Hodges with a long 3 and will not find the rim. And it goes out 9.2 seconds as we see Pearson Young check back into the game for the Hornets. 39-23, 9.2 seconds on the clock.
Great open look there for Hodges as he was able to get that shot off just a little too long, and not enough power underneath that shot. We saw him laughing there as those air balls are rare.
And ladies and gentlemen, make sure you keep it locked here at the half. We will be bringing you a halftime show. And so Lynchburg drawing the block there. Averett fans not real happy about that one. Clay Hodges' second personal foul. And that will send Young to the line. So we've seen here at least 19 fouls in the first half. Probably pushing closer to about 25 or 30 at this point.
Yeah, Davin, the Cougars have had a lot of fouls today and a lot of turnovers. So it'll be interesting to see in the second half how Coach Duino fixes that and kind of turns that down a little bit to be able to focus back in and get his team back into this game in the second half.
And it's going to be a lot. Eli Thomas and Jake Clark checking back in for the Hornets, and Young is going to hit his free throw. And Ramazani with a last-second attempt will not fall. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for the first half. Lynchburg 41, Averett 23. Keep it locked. We'll be right back with your halftime show here on the Averett Sports Network.
And welcome back to the Averett Sports Network. We have a good one on our hands here, and a great crowd here. As we've seen a couple of kids dance to the Cupid Shuffle here. Welcome back to the Averett Sports Network. I'm Wyatt Ockable. Alongside me is the former graduate assistant of Drew Wilson, Gavin Wilson. Welcome back to with us as we are about to get started here. About a little more than 7 minutes away from getting started with the second half here of this one, as we're calling this one the hometown game between your Averett University Cougars and the visiting Lynchburg Hornets, as we see several hometown Danville kids being able to make their starts here on the floor for both Averett and Lynchburg. It's very, very cool to see as Averett played well, but here's the thing, is that they need to cut down on the turnovers and then also on the fouls, as this game is going to get chippy, but they need to limit how many times that Lynchburg is going to go to the line.
And why we're going to take a look here at some stats. First off, for Lynchburg, Michael Gray and Tyler Buggs both with 10 points each for the Hornets. Meanwhile, Jonathan Faust with 6. Jake Hart with 5. On the rebounding end, Pearson Young leading with 5. Jonathan Faust with 4. Michael Gray with 4 and Jake Hart with 3. For the Cougars, points-wise, no surprise here. Jason Sellers with 6. Mason Mitchell, Clay Hodges with 5. Jackson Sellers with 3. Rebounds, Jason Sellers with 6. There again, no surprise, Mason Mitchell with 4. Terrell Fisher with 2. And Jackson Sellers with 1.
That's right, as we have yet to see Jackson Sellers get going, but one of the more promised players here on the squad for Coach David Duino. So it's going to be interesting to see how Coach Duino can get him going, as we saw him getting into early foul trouble. So here's the thing, is that Coach Duino has 2 players in foul trouble, so it should be interesting how he's going to use them coming into the later parts of this game.
And it's definitely going to be some guys that he's going to need if he wants to start, chipping away at this deficit a little bit as we move later in, into this game. So we'll see. I think the keys, if Averett can start getting some more defensive boards and can start, getting some buckets on the other end, increase that shooting percentage. We're going to try to get you down here real quick. I think that they will start to put it together. You look at this right now. Lynchburg coming in and shooting 48% from the field in the first half. Averett just 25.9. Meanwhile, the Hornets 4 of 10 from three-point range, 40%. Meanwhile, Averett 1 of 7, 14.3%. So that's a big one right there. And why this is a big stat too. Right now, Lynchburg 22 rebounds to Averett 17. Lynchburg 7 offensive boards, Averett 6. But here's the real difference: 15 defensive rebounds compared to Averett's 11.
That's right. As the Cougars definitely need to get going on both the defensive on the defensive glass, and I think if they can pull away a few more of those rebounds on defense, they'll get a few extra possessions and get some more points on the board for their team, as to be able to come back in this game. They're not far down at all. The score is only 41-23. So, and as we were saying earlier, the Cougars are a second half team. So Coach Duino has always his team better into these games and more into these games as people think that they are. So it should be exciting here going at the start of the second half, and to see what happens here on offense, whether Coach Duino changes it up, because here's a lot of things that Coach plays a lot of zone defense early in the off in the first half, but then changes it up more on man-to-man going into the second half, so that even though these things tend to get a little bit more chippy here with the physicality, the Cougars definitely start playing a little bit more defense in the second half as they do in the first. So it will definitely be interesting to see what the Cougars will do to differently on the offensive side of the floor, to be able to put a few more points on the board and to cut into this lead here that Lynchburg has built in the first half. But it's always exciting here. At Averett, especially for these towards the end of the season conference games, we're going to see these bigger crowds here. Imagine if the Cougars make the conference tournament, what we're going to get to see here at the Grand Center for those games, and to be able to see what it's like during conference tournament time.
Yeah, and it will be. And so, Wyatt, I don't know how you feel, but I say we kick it out for the final 2 minutes, and we'll be back here in just a bit on the Averett Sports Network.
And welcome back to the Averett Sports Network. If you're just joining us, we're about to get started with the second half of this great game between your Averett University Cougars and the visiting Lynchburg Hornets. I'm Wyatt Ackerpool. Alongside me is Davin Wilson. We're about to get started here underway as we appreciate you guys for holding up with us on our technical difficulties. We're about to get started with the second half of this one. Looks like starting the second half for the Cougars will be Jason Sellers alongside his brother Jackson, Clay Hodges, and Mason Mitchell, and as well as David Ramanzani here to start the second half for the Cougars.
And one thing that I got to point out here, Wyatt, the song right now, these guys from Danville, Virginia, representing the hometown crowd here. So I can't remember the name of the group off the top of my head. I'm being a bad Danvillian here, but oh well. So, all right, now a little bit of Still Drake, taking me back to my high school days, my senior year.
So, all right, but I gotta ask you while we're on broadcast here, Devin. You were saying during halftime, what is it like being back here at Averett, being able to get involved in these things?
Oh, it's nice being back here, and it's always good people, and it's a lot of fun. So, Jameson Graves inside to number 3, Jackson.
Out to Mason Mitchell, who puts it up. And gets the basket to go here as Lynchburg will take over here on offense as we see the Cougars start to get the defensive chant going. Back over to Terrell as Terrell puts it up as Cougars will get the ball back here on offense as Hodges will bring it up here for the Cougars. Ramanzani setting the screen over to Jackson Sellers. Back over to Hodges. Hodges over Ramanzani. Ramanzani back into Jason Sellers. Sellers looking for the shot. Just goes up and gets fouled on the way down. Well, he'll look at 2 shots here on the foul on Lynchburg here as he'll go to the line and looking for 2 points back here on the board.
And so we've got a foul here. Jason Sellers at the line. 43-25, 19:04 left in the game. So let's see what Averett can do. Can they get off to a hot start and start trying to chip away at this deficit?
It's the first shot does not go down here. Let's see whether Jason can knock down his second shot here for the Cougars and bring them just 1 point closer to going on a hot streak. As he knocks down his second shot here. So we'll see what the Cougars do on defense here. As a little bit of press defense here from Clay Hodges.
And So right now we've got number 1, Jake Hart. Hart's going to kick it out to Valentine, or no, to Brown. So Brown back into the game for Lynchburg, and it's going to be interesting to see what this does for this Hornets team, as Brown had to go out early on with foul trouble. And Wyatt, as I mentioned earlier, Brown, a state champion in track last year, his senior year at Tunstall. That was 2 years after finishing in the Final Four, just coming up short. And there is a long three from number 5, Mike Gray.
What an open shot there for Bray as he gets that one to go. Let's see what the Cougars can do here on offense, as they're slowing the offense up and getting set a little bit more as Hodge will kick it over to Mitchell. Mitchell over to Ramanzani. Ramanzani trying to having a little trouble holding on to the ball. Ramanzani into the double team defense of the Hornets, but just able to get the ball back over to Mitchell. Mitchell puts up the shot, just back off the back of the rim, but with the rebound is Hodges. Hodges over to Ramanzani. Ramanzani with the layup, and good as the Cougars get back on the board here. And able to get that bucket to go as they get back on defense here.
So Brown now coming up for. Hey, Wyatt.
Yeah.
Number 2 is Graves.
Okay, Graves. Okay.
Ramazani is 14.
Okay.
Just always use that.
Okay. Sorry about the folks. That's not Ramanzani. That's number 2, Jamison Graves.
So it's going to be Jake Hart on the inbound. He's going to get that over to number 5, Mike Gray. Gray trying to set it up. Of course, Gray just hit that big three-pointer a second ago that pushed the Hornets' lead to 20. And there's a spinning jumper by Hart. He is going to draw a foul in the process, though.
Great defense there from Hodges, though. Just a little more physical than he would have liked there on the defensive side of the ball.
And there definitely have been some calls that kind of make you scratch your head on both sides here so far. I'm not one that likes to call out bad calls or anything, as they very rarely will affect the game, but there have been a few tough ones. Number 1, Jake Hart hitting that first free throw to push it back to 20 points. And there's the second one. And actually the second one's going to push it back to 20 points. 48-28. 17:23 left in this contest.
As Hodges will bring the ball up here for the Cougars. Over to Jackson Sellers, who is fouled here on the reach, and that's by number 1, Jake Hart. As Mason Mitchell will get the ball in here for the Cougars. Over to Jason, who will back down number 35. That's Jamarcus Brown. As Sellers just not able to get the ball to go. As the Hornets with the fast break, easy bucket here on the offensive end. As Sellers will bring the ball up here there again for the Cougars. Score is now 50-28 in favor of the Hornets.
That's Pearson Young on the layup there for the Hornets. So Jameson Graves now with the ball. Graves driving in, switching directions. A nice layup attempt there. Cannot get it to fall. And it's going to be number 5, Gray. Pass over to Brown. Brown is going to draw the foul. So Averett's going to have to start cleaning it up a little bit. They're giving Lynchburg too many shots at the line right now. And obviously you cannot do that when you are facing a 22-point deficit in the second half.
It's right, Davin. You really can't have too many turnovers nor too many fouls in the second half. As if you're looking to get back in, within a 20-point deficit. And
Averett, has had some changes in his roster in the last month, and had some people leave, some players go, and it's definitely kind of affected him a little bit. Brown hits the shot. 51-28. You hear his cheering section start kicking in, and when I say cheering section, he definitely does have his own.
That's right, as Hodges will bring it up here for the Cougars. Into Jason Sellers. Back out to Hodges. Hodges with a three-pointer as another air ball from Hodges. Just a little off to the right side. Not able to knock it down as Hodges, Sellers, and Mason Mitchell will all check out here. Looking now is number 21 will check in as that'll be Lewis. Number 11, Jalen Chambers. And number 34, Terrell Fitzgerald.
And that is Mike Gray with the jumper. So 53-28, and Averett has got to try to regroup here and start putting something together, or otherwise this game could get out of control.
That's right, over to...
So Tobias Bracey over to Jalen Chambers.
Over to Bracey.
Bracey showing some skills on that one, showing his hops as he gets that jumper while being fouled. So that is Jake Hart's second personal, team third. And 53-30 is the score. Bracey going to the line. It's going to be number 0, Eli Thomas, the redshirt sophomore forward out of Durham, North Carolina. And Bracey is going to hit the shot and making a three-point play. Get the Cougars within 22. 15-43. We're going to start seeing a little bit of a trap here. Let's see if Averett can maintain it. They're kicking back now. Bracey on Hart. Hart trying to move around, make something happen, gets it back out to Young. Young with that Globetrotters three. And Ramazani coming down with that rebound, gets it over to Bracey.
Great shot there by Bracey.
Can't get it to fall, and Wyatt, we talked about it at the half. Averett's struggling to shoot from the floor right now, struggling really all around to shoot, and the Cougars are definitely going to have to start getting their vision a little bit better here. Not only for this game, but moving forward.
That's right, Gavin. As the Cougars are going to have to start being a little bit more patient here on offense.
And we see it so often. It's so easy to have happen. You get in a deficit, and there is a long three from Fouts. Does not fall, but man, oh man, Eli Thomas there with an impressive putback. Timeout, Lynchburg on the court. 30-second timeout. We're going to stay with you on this. And actually, we're going to see this one change when into the media. It's about that time to go into the media. We're going to go ahead and stay with you. So you can hear Coach Keyshawn Lewis down there and getting very spirited. Meanwhile, David Duino kind of hanging back, trying to figure out what to do here moving forward. Right now, Lynchburg shooting 50% from the floor, 18 of 36. Meanwhile, Averett 27%. And Lynchburg not doing great from three-point range, 38.5. But
that's right, though, Gavin. Is we're seeing there on the bench Clay Hodges, a great leader for this team, and trying to get his team going, and maybe we'll help with getting a little bit more fire, off of the bench here.
Well, we would like to thank everybody for supporting Averett University basketball, all our great sponsors and the great people that they have working over here. It's always a pleasure to come over and do business with everybody.
That's right, as we have a great sports information staff here. A little shout out here, like we were talking about earlier, Zoe Wins and Drew Wilson, just absolutely amazing here on the as the staff. We always love having Drew as the sports information director. He always helps keep things running smoothly running back and forth sometimes in between games to make sure that things are running the way that they should be.
And it's not an easy job. I remember those days very, very clearly. So Fitzgerald over to Bracey. Bracey looking to drive in, kicks it out to Chambers. Chambers with the 3, does not fall. Fitzgerald with the tip-in attempt, will not fall. A great defensive play there by Thomas, and Lewis wisely lets it go out of bounds. And Fitzgerald, not a bad idea right there. May have been a little better served to have pulled that one in than trying to push it right back through. But either way, great effort there by Fitzgerald to come down with that. So Jalen Chambers now. Chambers with the ball. Fitzgerald and Brown know each other quite well. And Chambers a kick out to Lewis. And Lewis with the knockdown jumper. 55-33.
What a great pass there by Chambers over to Lewis for that open mid-range shot there. Just, you couldn't be more open than that and have a more square of a shot than that, as the Cougars here force another turnover on defense as they'll get the ball back. Here it's a chance to start a run of their own here to get back into this one. Only down now by 22 points here as the Cougars getting a little bit more momentum back there on their side of the bench.
And definitely trying to find it here. And we got Tobias Bracey right now, kicks it out to Lewis. So Lewis gets it out to Ramazani. Ramazani trying to drive in. He's going to switch course over to Bracey. Bracey, not a bad three-point shooter, is going to opt for the high percentage shot out to Fitzgerald. And there's Bracey right there. Does not get it to fall. Brown with the defensive board.
As the double team there from Bracey and the other and Ramazani will be another foul call here on the Cougars, as the and also a bucket here for the Hornets here on offense. Will give them a chance at the line for a 3-point play.
So Mike Gray and Jake Hart checking back in for the Hornets. Of course, 8 teams go into the tournament. And right now, both of these two teams are right there on the fringe. And so the winner of this one would definitely have a big step in the right direction towards making the ODAC tournament. Of course, there's still a lot of season left to play. Looking at the Cougars' schedule, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Have 8 games after this one.
The next one obviously being on the 25th here, back at home in the Grand Center at 3:30 p.m. against Eastern Mennonite.
And that should be a winnable game for the Cougars, even though Eastern Mennonite is always tough. It's always a battle. So Lynchburg gets the shot up, can't get it to fall. Ball's being passed around effectively right now. Lynchburg trying to get in the paint. Brown can't get it to go. Lewis with the rebound. Gets it over to Graves. Graves trying to drive in. Turnaround jumper will not get the fall. Lynchburg with the defensive board. And so Brown trying the alley-oop there with his hometown folks in front of him, but unable to do so. So we've got DeMarcus Tucker checking in for the Cougars.
Well, we definitely saw that coming, Gavin, as Brown big hops there is trying to bring the house down.
And he definitely would have done it with that. And he is going to hit the turnaround jumper right there. So 27 points is the difference. And we're going to get a reset on the shot clock. Wyatt, I think you know as well as I do, as you were down there for the women's game, that is a job that is unpredictable. And sometimes that shot clock, the button will not fire.
Yeah, Davin, if you're really not careful, it can really mess up a game and not make the refs incredibly happy.
So Elon Thomas with the bucket there. That's going to push it to 29. Lynchburg's largest lead. But Graves gets it over to Tucker. Tucker gets it over to Chambers. Chambers over to Ramazani. Ramazani to Graves. Graves gets it back over to Chambers. And Chambers knocks down the three. It's now 62-36.
A much-needed bucket here from the Cougars. And Chambers, great job there by Chambers to get an open look and to be able to knock one down here. Again, very much needed here for the Cougars to be able to get a little bit more momentum going on offense.
Yeah, Averett definitely can use whatever momentum it can get right now, and trailing by double digits like this by 20 plus, by 25 plus really. And we're going to have a full timeout on the court. We're going to take it with them here on the Averett Sports Network. Boys and girls, hombres and chicas, we're back here. 11:27 left in the game. And I just said hombres, I said hombres. But I don't think Hungary and I don't think Hungary really puts in what I was trying to say there, but we got it corrected.
Well, the Cougar faithful definitely showing out here on this one. No matter what happens, we've definitely had a great crowd tonight. As Brown will try to get the alley-oop there, but turnover is Fitzgerald there on defense. Will get the slam home as another 2-point bucket goes there for the Cougars.
And you gotta love it, of course, Terrell's dad, who coached him at Hargrave, sitting right there on the front row. We were going to try to get him on the broadcast at the half, but since we're talking into the computer, kind of hard to do.
Well, we'll have the next time that Lynchburg is here, we'll have him on the halftime show.
Yes. Next time he's here, period, is a very knowledgeable man about the game. Also coached Tomias Bracey at Hargrave. I'm sure he's also a travel ball coach, and I'm sure somewhere along the line coached Josh Lewis as well. Coach Tomias Bracey. Might have already said that.
As the Cougars will play a little press defense here in the front court. As Mason Mitchell will be on defense. As Lynchburg with the bucket and the foul will go to the line again for another 3-point play.
So DeMarcus Tucker getting charged with the foul, his first personal team 6. It was Tyler Buggs on the bucket. He will go to the line for his extra shot, trying to make it a 3-point play. And he won't be able to do it as it's going to be Mason Mitchell coming out with the rebound. Mitchell out to Chambers.
Let's see if the Cougars here can get going on offense as Chambers here again in control. As the last time we saw him down the floor, he was able to knock down a wide open three from the arc.
And as we've talked about, there's still Mason Mitchell puts up a three, but we're gonna have a foul.
Huge problem here for the Cougars. Still on the high foul percentage, as an offensive foul will be charged here again for the Cougars. We'll give the Hornets back the ball here.
That is the 11th foul of the half. We had over 20 in the first. Most of them going the way of the Cougars. So Brown puts up a jumper. Will not knock it down. So Jake Hart gets it in to number 24, Tyler Buggs. Fighting for the ball. Averett coming down with the rebound. So Mason Mitchell. And we're going to have a block whistled on the play on number 3. Or excuse me, number 5, Mike Gray. His first personal, team fifth.
Looks like Chambers will get the ball into Mitchell. Mitchell double teamed there on the side. Over to Fitzgerald. Over to Graves. Graves with the ball in, back out to Fitzgerald. Over to Chambers. Chambers with the shot. No good off the front iron as the Hornets rebound the ball and get out on transition.
And so it's going to be number 1, Jake Hart right now. Jake Hart and a bounce pass over to number 24 Buggs. And Buggs with the basket. 66-38. So Lynchburg's trying to get it out 2:30. And Mason Mitchell says not right now, as he hits down a nice jumper.
That's right. Though on Brown with on the fast break for here for Lynchburg will draw the foul. Great job by Brown to get out on the open floor and get Lynchburg back to the line here. As we're going to see a few players check in for the Cougars. Looks like it'll be number 14 Ramanzani, number 12 Jason Sellers, and number 25 Tyland Evans.
Brown's first attempt goes through. Brown is one of those kids, he can do it all. He can go inside, he can bully you inside the paint, he can knock him down from outside, and he can hit him from the line too. Was a big role in Tunstall's run through the playoffs in the last 4 years. And hits the second shot, actually ended in the state semifinals. Another fun fact, Wyatt, Brown's coach at Averett, DeMarcus Morrison, actually holds several of the program records over here at Averett for men's basketball. So a little 7 degrees of separation there.
That's right, as the Cougars turn it over again, though, on defenses. Jason Sellers gets the block, though, but the foul.
And Jalen Chambers will get hit with the foul. His second personal, team 9th. And you look at this game, the difference is Lynchburg's shooting, especially in the paint, from the field really. Coming in, last time we checked, it was like 50%. Not so great from three-point range, but when you're hitting half of your shots from the floor or from the field, you don't necessarily have to hit them from outside.
That's right, Davin. As we see, it'll be interesting. Here is a guy who's had a little bit of a smaller role, but a huge impact on the team has been Mason Mitchell, though who's gotten open for a few shots. So I'm wondering why Coach Duino hasn't wanted to try to get him more open. As we see him open there, puts up another shot here and knocks down a second straight shot here on offense here in the second half. As he's gotten a little bit more open here in the second half than he has in the first half. Gotten a little bit more touches. So it'll be interesting to see if he'll have a little bit more of an impact here in the second half.
And Mason Mitchell has has played a big role for this Cougars team all year, and it's been fun to see that. And there's a three-point shot. Let's see, that was Eli Thomas, and that makes it a 73-42 game. So Mason Mitchell out to Chambers. Chambers back to Mitchell. Mitchell gets it over to Ramazani. Ramazani over to Jason Sellers. Jason Sellers out to Ramazani. Ramazani back out to Mason Mitchell.
Mason Mitchell, who just knocked down the wide open banked in three. The bank's open tonight for Mason Mitchell.
It is. And Mason Mitchell showing hints of Tim Duncan with that shot right there, kissing it off the glass.
That's right. It's Tim Duncan back in his day. He loved the bank shot. He's famous for that.
He did. In fact, one of my favorite movies is it's an Adam Sandler movie called Grown Ups, and Kevin James correctly tells Adam Sandler's son to go get a Wii Fun because he says the bank shot never works on the Wii. So
that's right. It's though, as Adam Sandler definitely proved him wrong in the movie. Definitely famous for that bank shot. Even though in the last scene of that basketball scene in that movie where he misses the bank shot, though, is that he wanted to make sure that that he knew how to also lose. So and be able to get the other team to win. So I mean, it's what makes it a great movie. Is Brown here at the line will knock down his second shot, I believe.
And while we're on the Sandler throwing games, you also go back to the whole 9 yards where he threw the game because he had gotten in deep with his bookies. So I think we know why Adam Sandler didn't play professional sports.
That's definitely right, though. Is that I will say though, we've seen him in videos on social media of him playing pickup basketball with friends in his downtime every so often.
Kid's got some game.
Oh yeah. As we see an alley-oop to Brown on try though, as it's overthrown, as the Cougars not able to handle the ball here on offense, as Mason Mitchell over to Ramazani just hit the back iron as the Hornets will get the ball back, and another three goes for the Hornets and pulls their lead to 33 points.
And once again, that was Eli Thomas, the redshirt sophomore out of local Durham, nearby Durham, North Carolina. And Mitchell with the three ball, he gets in the ball. There's one thing about the Sabre team, they are trailing by 30 late in the game. It's pretty much all been written, but you see the Cougars are still cheering each other on the bench, celebrating those moments. And Buggs with the bucket on the nice pass by number 1, Jake Hart.
As we see Ramazani bring it up for Jason Lewis, over to Jason Sellers, over to Mason Mitchell, again for the shot, not so lucky this time, but Jason Sellers able to get the rebound there and draw the foul as he'll go to the line for 2 shots.
And I don't think any of us were expecting a 32-point game going into this one. It's usually a very tight matchup when these two teams get together, but any given Wednesday, it is Wednesday, right?
That's right, it is
okay,
Wednesday.
Good. Make sure I wasn't having a secret moment there. And so Jason Sellers with the freebie, 80-49, just over 5 minutes. And let's see, we're going to have number 11, Cole Calloway, the redshirt freshman out of Mooresville, North Carolina, down there near Charlotte. Of course, Averett had a player, Carter Jones, back about 10 years ago, and hits the second free throw. And then we're going to have number 15, Colton Price, the sophomore out of Monroe, North Carolina, and Metro Lena Christian. That is not the most awesome name for a school.
Price, who we haven't seen him too often this year, but it's great to be able to see him, get some more minutes here, in the later part of the season.
Can't get the jumper to fall. Ramazani back down the court. Hand off to Josh Lewis. Lewis over to Mitchell. Mitchell gets it over to number 25, Evans. Evans gets it over to Price. Price over to Lewis. Lewis with the running layup.
Excellent job there by the Cougars to get him some space here so that he could drive down the middle there to be able to get the easy layup as the Cougars, cutting into this deficit here late into in the second half. Here though is hard for the Hornets, able to draw a foul. We'll go back to the line here again for the Hornets as they have a high free throw percentage here this game, as they are able to get to the line very, very often here against this Cougar squad.
And we'll take a look here, and as of get an update. The last update was at the start of the second half, so we're going to do a refresh here. So right now, Lynchburg shooting 70% from the free throw line, 50% from the field, and 43.8% from three-point range. So that three-point number has definitely increased here in the second half.
That's right. The Hornets have definitely increased their free throw percentage as this game has gone on. As Mason Mitchell, though, able to draw the foul against Lynchburg.
So 3:54 here on the clock. Averett will be back in action this Saturday when it hosts Eastern Mennonite at 3:30 p.m. here at the Grant Center. Let's take a look here, see when Mason Mitchell hits the free throw there. Meanwhile, Lynchburg will take the court again on Saturday when it hosts Washington and Lee at 4:30. As both teams are entering the stretch of their respective seasons. And Mitchell hits the second shot, 80-54, 3 minutes and 54 seconds on the clock, but who's counting?
As hard for the Hornets will bring the ball up here. With great defense there by Price and Mitchell there on defense, though, is Hari able to. That's number 11. That's Cole Calloway able to lay it in easily for the Hornets. As we'll see Ramazani bring the ball up over to Mitchell, back over to Ramazani, over to Price, back over to Ramazani. As Ramazani tries to cut in over to number 25. That's Tylen Evans. As the Hornets here with the open three. That's number 21 for the Hornets. That's Von Nielsen.
And Price with the long three will not fall, and looks like it's going to deflect off of Brown. So we've got number 22, John Henderson, checking back into the game for the Hornets. And like I said, I don't think anybody was expecting a blowout on either end at the start of this one, but hats off to Lynchburg. They have done an incredible job of shooting. I've been able to get some big stops on the defensive end, and that's been the difference in this one. And
that's right. As the Lynchburg has been, just a little too much for the Cougars tonight. Though as the Cougars, in the future, need to work on cutting down on the number of turnovers and number of fouls that they commit, throughout the game. Because one of the things that they will do better on if they are able to get a few extra possessions, if they're able to cut down on the number of fouls that happen throughout the game.
The fouls have been a big difference in this, and we're going to take a look here and see exactly what the Cougars are looking at turnover-wise. Right now, actually a lot closer than what you would think. Averett with 13, Lynchburg with 11. But here's the real stat on that one. Lynchburg with 22 points off of turnovers Averett with just 10.
That's right. That's a huge gap in the number of points off turnovers.
And that's it. And both teams with 66 possessions, though, so that's been right there on the dot. So right now, I believe that is going to be Brown at the line. It is. He's going to knock down that first shot, 83-54. See what he can do with the second one here. And Brown has not disappointed this home crowd tonight that came to see him. Let's take a look, see what he has gotten so far. So far with 10 points, and that's actually after sitting out most of the first half, and really a good chunk of the second after getting into foul trouble.
That's right. As coming towards the end of this one, we kind of take a look here around the league. Besides the one being here at the Grant Center, the other games going on tonight in the ODAC is tonight is Ferrum College going up against Roanoke College at Roanoke. Looking like the score is 97-65 in favor of Roanoke at Roanoke. So a huge game there going on as Ferrum high in the ODAC in the standings for in terms of going into the ODAC tournament later on in the season. So it should be interesting to see what happens in that game. You know, that should be actually kind of an upset. And also Randolph College at Hampton-Sydney. Hampton-Sydney, no surprise there, up on Randolph by a score of 89-82 so far there at Hampton-Sydney.
And Ramazani at the line for free throws. And he's going to get the second one. Will go in and out. And we heard the cheers from Brown as he came out of the game. No need to have him there with a 30-point lead. So minute 25 left in this one. Averett is going to be left with some questions after this game. What does it do from here? How does it regroup? The Cougars have the talent there. They've shown it this season. Ramazani.
That's right. Davin is, they definitely have the talent there, but they definitely need to find a way to regroup into the next game against EMU here at the Grant Center on the 25th at 3:30. So we'll see how Coach Torino regroups his team, maybe to bounce back with a win against EMU to maybe get back into the standings of the ODAC and to hopefully at least get into the talk of making the tournament.
And Wyatt, as we were talking about it earlier, of course, when they did win the USA South a couple of years ago, Averett did not have the best of regular seasons going into the final week and a half, but ended up hitting an incredible hot streak and were able to not only make the tournament, but then put together a couple of big wins, to clinch the tournament and the USA South's automatic bid to the NCAA tournament.
That's right. We've seen that Averett has definitely been able to make the NCAA tournament for a few years, though. So it should be interesting to see how the Cougars finish out the rest of the season with about half a minute here left to go here in this one. Looks like it's going to be all Hornets here, 85-55.
And we're hitting the final price there, cannot get it falling. I think at this point, Lynchburg's still going for something here. And it's going to be number 11, Cole Calloway, putting up the layup. And 87-55. And as I was saying, I just don't think anybody really expected a 30-plus differential in this one, but Mason Mitchell, and Mitchell puts it up, gets it to fall. So Averett ends on a high note with a bucket, but they are unable to get the win. And so while we've got everybody here still with you, we're going to take a look here real quick at some of your leaders. First off, your final score, Averett, or First off, final score, University of Lynchburg 87, Averett 57. So the Lynchburg led by Michael Gray with 17 points, Tyler Buggs with 14, Jamarcus Brown and Elijah Thomas each with 10. Meanwhile, on the rebounding end, Pearson Young with 6, Michael Gray with 6, Jake Hart and Jonathan Faust both with 5. Meanwhile, looking at the Cougars' stats, Mason Mitchell, game high, 19 points. I believe that's a game high. Let me double check. It is. 19 points. Jason Sellers with 11, Clay Hodges with 7, and Josh Lewis with 4. So, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of myself and Wyatt, we'd like to thank y'all for tuning in tonight and hope you will tune back in on Saturday. Have a great night and be safe.